We got an incredible video today about the pros and cons of living in Athens. Athens is the greatest city ever known. If you don't know where Athens, Georgia is, it's about an hour east of Atlanta, Georgia. And it's about an hour and a half from one of the best international airports, Hartsfield International Airport. We're just going to go through the list of pros first. Rob, what's the number one thing on that list?
Number one thing, cost of living is very good.
Compared to what?
Most big cities.
Yeah, I mean, as far as what you're getting for your dollar as far as living there, and particularly too for people that are nearing retirement age or retiring, they have a lot of tax incentives. So if you want money to go further and still live in a cool place, you should consider Athens.
Yeah, many times ranked on top, I would say top 5 in the nation, place to retire.
Actually, there are numerous national publications that have mentioned Athens
Big
is the greatest
publications.
place to retire to.
Yep.
One of the things that relates to the cost of living being so great and a place to retire to is there's actually so much great access to free things to do. There's a really good large state botanical gardens here, which is also right next to the women's soccer and softball fields, usually free to go see. There's actually free, you can go see women's volleyball, all the swimming and diving. I think all the tennis is still free. Basketball is very low priced. If you want to go see NCAA basketball, men or women's, you can usually get tickets for between $2 to $20 or less per ticket. And then you have some really amazing festivals that come to town, like the Ath Fest.
We have not only Ath Fest, but we have Porch Fest, which is really cool.
Well,
But
I'd actually
Marce-
throw in there,
Yeah.
a lot of people like the drive-by truckers. But there's always Trucker Week where everybody comes to Athens to hear when they make their circuit back around.
We have the 40 Watt, the Georgia Theater, and the Classic Center. That was what I was trying to get at.
That's right, the big three. Big
the
three.
big
right there.
three in the Athens music scene. Yeah, if you didn't know, Athens is the home of the B-52s, R.E.M., Widespread Panic, Drive-By Truckers. Those are
Original
the
screw tops.
Modern Skirts, Heart of
Heart
Pine,
of Pine.
local bands, Feral Joys. They're big,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. I mean, really, Jason Isbell. Marcelo, I've heard you and your wife like to go out to eat. Tell us about the amazing food in town here.
I mean, we go a lot to eat. We go many places. Favorites that we always go to, right on 5 Points, is Marker 7.
Oh, yeah. Great seafood.
Food is always on point. One thing that I like, they will not sit the party until everybody's there. So you cannot send somebody to get a table and wait for everybody. They will not sit
Oh,
you.
yeah.
But then if you're on the flip side, you were there, and here comes this guy, in front of you and says, "Hey, it's a party of 5. They're on the way," and the guy, "Yeah, and Marcelo, your table is ready. You got to wait because my party is here." So that one is another one. And then a favorite barbecue place, Pulaski Heights Barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
There's definitely a
I'm a
barbecue
huge fan. I'm a
competition
huge fan.
happening in
Yeah.
Athens. I would say some of the best brisket I've ever had and some of the best barbecue sauce house.
Sea Bear, Oyster Bar.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool. Now, my suggestion is try to make it during happy hour. It's more affordable.
And it's some of the best drinks in
Yeah,
Athens.
it's great drinks.
Great
The
mixers.
oysters, they have a wide selection. And what's cool about it, what we enjoy is that they come in, you order a dozen, and you can pick from Florida, Boston, Massachusetts, everywhere, all the way up north, and down south. And you can see how they're different. And what's crazy is like that they taste different. So you pick the ones you like, and then you order more of the one you enjoyed. Mama's Boy is good. It's good. Great breakfast.
Currently
great
the
selection.
best breakfast in Athens.
Great breakfast.
Besides Waffle House.
Be prepared to wait in line. Yeah, be
That's
prepared to
true.
wait in
Oh,
line
that's
because
true.
it's packed every time,
Yeah.
especially on the weekends. The National. I've took my wife there for our anniversary once. It was fantastic. George Low Country, the last resort. That right there is a Athens staple.
I went there for my birthday.
Yeah, they even mentioned that the last home game here for the Georgia Bulldogs on national television. The guys are there, man. to the last resort. Man, what a meal.
Really?
Yeah, on ESPN, yeah. It was
That's
like,
tight.
Wow.
That's
I'm
so cool.
Trying to recall, there wasn't some other national publication or something like that they picked up on The Last Resort not too long ago.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the world famous that's on the hot corner. It was
World
voted. It is world famous. It was voted as a top dive bar in the U.S. in 2020.
They chose their name well.
All right, so we have a list of cons in case you didn't know about them. If you move to Athens, some people don't like college football.
Who's in charge of
but
that?
it's only
That's preposterous.
it is literally only 6 weekends out of the whole year. But if you were to talk to an Athens person, it's like it happens every couple days. They're like, don't go out during home games.
You know,
which is all
it never fails. Every time I would say, "Yo, well, because we headed downtown." Are you crazy? It's a home game.
I'm like, yeah, everybody's there watching
No,
the
and
game.
What you know, I may spill the secret here. You know, let it out. But you know what people don't realize, it's downtown. The meters are timed, so you cannot just park and go to the game. At one point, you're gonna have to leave and out take your spot.
Right.
So I always find parking. You might wait a little bit longer in line to get your food, but if it's during the game, you can waltz right in. You know, it's no big deal.
So yeah, I mean, my wife is, I don't even know what it's called. It's not like she has a fear of big crowds. She just hates them. So,
Widespread
I can
panic.
understand.
it's very easy to avoid, but it only happens 6 times a year. But there's probably 100,000 people who come here from out of town and are, parking everywhere, bringing their RVs, bringing their
Yep.
private jets.
Mhm.
And it gets crowded, and there's a lot more actual traffic on those days
If you have allergies in springtime, it can be pretty
in the
brutal.
south.
In the south, it gets covered in a thin yellow, a layer of
Right.
yellow pollen
Mhm.
from pine and grass. And it's like the wind blows, and you can see the
The yellow clouds.
the yellow cloud. You go like, wow, oh my God, that's just crazy. And the cloud goes like, and you go like, wow. That's a big con right there. If you're allergic to pollen,
I've heard that it might cost a lot to rent here in Athens.
Rents are rising. I mean, as a matter of fact, it's just kind of the nature of the town. You have more renters than homeowners. The further you move out, you see more home ownership, but because it's a college town and there's always a large influx of students.
it goes back to economy 101, supply and demand.
Well, it seems to
Approving-
be kind of a chronic issue as far as, and these days it seems like the only thing that, not without some twisting some arms and wheeling and dealing, but the only thing that seems to be getting developed today is more student housing. It is needed, but it makes it a little bit tougher on locals. Unless you have a lot more expendable income, you kind of get pushed more out to the edges of town or the surrounding towns, which still fine. You're probably about within 15-20 minutes from anything you want to do there in town. But if you want to live right here in town, more than likely you'd be looking at renting something.
After COVID, Athens had some of the highest rent spikes in the entire nation, according
Widespread
to
pandemic.
the Wall Street Journal. Widespread pandemic. Yes,
WSJ.
we talked about the food scene being great, but the late night food scene is bad. There's literally like the dumb
Wow.
late night fast food, like Checkers and
Two
Taco
words for
Bell.
that. Wahoo. Waffle House, bro.
Late night food in Athens is rough. I'm downtown. I am famished. I just need something. But maybe it's not that late. Maybe it's not too late at all. Maybe it's 9. There's a couple of okay places. You got the Wahoo. Everybody loves Waffle House. But then there's also Little Italy.
Little Italy, man.
And World Famous. World Famous. They keep their World Famous keeps their kitchen open till like 10, I think. If they kept that thing open past 10 o'clock, it would be inundated with a bunch of drunken idiots. And like, I get it, like they'd probably make a ton of money, but I bet like on the other hand, I really wouldn't want to hang out, at 2 and 3 a.m. cooking for some people's South like bar, you know what I mean? Like, no way.
Awesome.
Served it up.
And that's a wrap.
Whoa. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thanks for joining us.
We
today.
appreciate your time.
It was a pleasure.